God this week in our site owner Marie Fletcher's eyes, because when we were doing her house, it was a very interesting color and none of us would have picked it, but she just saw the beauty in everything, even in our mess ups and some extra holes in the wall and places that we didn't paint. She just saw the beauty in everything, and she was bringing all her family and friends to her house like as if she owned a mansion. So that's where I saw God this week.
Go.
Alright, God spoke to me this week when Pastor Neil was preaching, and he said, "Who cares what other people think?" And I'm always concerned about what other people think, but I need to learn that God made me the way I am, and that's okay.
God spoke to me this week on Wednesday night when we had reflections, and a girl came up and said that we are not only rebuilding houses, but we're rebuilding ourselves. And that really sums up Salkehatchie to me, because we see these people in horrible conditions and who have had so many bad things thrown at them, and they still have such a strong faith in God. And it really makes you reevaluate everything in your life.
Alright. This is my 4th year at Salkehatchie, and I enjoy coming here to help out those who are in need and those who don't have as much as I do. And every year that I come here, everything changes. Feelings change to where I realize how much I have compared to how little everyone else has. And so when I go back home, I'm very grateful for what I have. But the problem is that only lasts for a little while. I usually, a couple months, I'll go back to the selfish way that I am and being ungrateful for what I have. So I'm just trying to figure out what it's going to take for me to feel that way all the time.
This week at Salkehatchie, we had a lot of frustration because of the rain, and the rain slowed us down with doing a lot of work. The worst thing I can remember doing was hammering in some nails into the side of the room we were beginning to build. And the second hardest thing I did besides that was paint. So I was getting frustrated, and I didn't want to frustrate my site leaders any more than I had to by continually asking, is there something I can do? Is there something I can do? Because I just felt terrible sitting down. But I believe it was either Tuesday or Wednesday night. We were in the fellowship hall just having our nightly devotion with Neil, and he said something about Salkehatchie's not all about fixing houses, but it's also about fixing ourselves and seeing how God lives inside of us and helps us grow. So that really opened up my eyes to see that, God tells us not to worry, and so I shouldn't be worrying about not having work to do at the moment. Just trusting in God that He'll provide and He'll help us get the job done. So that put me at ease and just really helped me to calm myself and look and see how God is growing and is growing in me and just helping me grow to be a better person. So.
This year at Salkehatchie, I worked on Site 12, which was Mr. Elliot Bridges' house. And one thing that stuck out in my mind this year where I really heard God speaking was right before we left today, on the last day of work, Mr. Elliot and Miss Brenda, his sister, started crying and praising Jesus that a group of angels came down and worked on his house this week. And it really touched my heart because it just shows you that a lot of just little stuff that you do for people really makes a difference in what they think about you. And it just really got to me because we're working for Jesus this week, and that just the small things we do really glorifies God and really makes a difference and an impact on people's life.
What happened to me this week was I got really frustrated because Miss Marie told Miss Vicky, which is our site mom, that she didn't want us to be there anymore and she couldn't wait for us to leave. And that really irritated me because we're here doing work for her and she said that. But then I thought about it and I thought to myself that I was being selfish and that I would be the same way if people that I didn't know and that my house looked just like that, I would be embarrassed and I would just be overwhelmed.
So for my site, my symbol for the site was this nail that I had, because I learned how to use a nail gun for the deck that we were making, and I kind of screwed up a lot on it, and it kind of just made a perfect circle for me, and it just made me realize that every single person from my site had worked on the deck that day, and it just showed how unified our site was and how close we became, all of us working on that deck the day. And it just touched me that we all became so close within such a short time, and it was just amazing to me to see that.
One day this week at Salkehatchie, me and this girl from my site went in to talk to my homeowner, Mr. Woodrow, and that day we just had surprised him with a new couch, and he was very grateful for it, and he was telling us how each and every one of us was a blessing to him, and that's when I realized that he was actually a blessing to us. Just by him witnessing to us, it helped me grow in my faith.
And I found God at Salkehatchie. There's a story behind it. Tyler and I were working on our site. We were taking out a door frame, and he was using the crowbar on the top of the frame, and I was on the bottom taking screws out. And then all of a sudden he pulls the top of the frame and it just falls down. And there's nails and stuff on the wood, and it falls and hits me in the head. And my head, the nails are right here, and the wood hits me on the head. And it was so close. But yeah, that's how I saw God.
A little miracle.
Yeah, a little miracle right there.
This week, God really spoke to me in a lot of different ways. One was this week we talked about the 4 things that make up Salkehatchie, which is faith, love, service, and fellowship. And I saw a lot of faith this week through our homeowner, Miss Vivian. We put numerous holes through her ceiling trying to get the roof off, and she was worried and she wouldn't sleep in her room because she thought insulation would fall on her. So I just think that she really had a lot of faith in us, and God was showing through her to have confidence in us that we could get everything done. And also I did see God through another way, which is there was a little kitty on our site, and his name is Tom, and he brought us all close together the first day when we really had nothing to do when it was raining, and we just got closer together, and I think that helped bring us all close together as a family. And it also reminded me of the way that God brings Christians together. You have something in common, so you immediately feel a connection between other people. So God really impacted my life this week.
This year was my first year at Salkehatchie. It was really great. It was actually really touching to me because our site owner, the house owner, actually wanted to help a lot with projects and everything, and kind of made it special and everything. Our site, homeowner actually was a karate guy and kind of tied in the sports with me. That was really special to me, and I'm definitely coming back next year. It was really fun, and I'm excited.
All right. Well, this week I worked on Miss Sue Malachi's house, and it was an extremely gratifying experience, simply because I saw that God spoke to me through her. Her happiness and appreciativeness and how grateful she was. She was almost in tears every day, every time we showed her a new addition or whatever we did. It was extremely, extremely just, words can't even describe how gratifying it was that people just come here to meet people and then come out with the greatest experience of their lives.
One of the most important memories that I had this Salkehatchie was when I first walked in to our house. Our guy was Mr. Frank, and he greeted us, and he's like such a nice person. I don't know how to really describe it. In his eyes, we could not do anything wrong. And when we started working, he'd always go around the house and try to help us in some way, and Mr. Neely would yell at him and tell him this is for the youth to do, and that's what really stuck with me. Just try to help us so much, and I don't know.
This week I worked on Miss Mary's house, and her whole family was very supportive. Her brothers and cousins all came every single day to come help us. They were such a blessing. Her cousin is a professional roofer, and he helped get our whole roof done in an hour. on both sides, so that was awesome. And then everyone just came together as a family. Other sites came to help us, and we got everything done in basically 2 days because of the rain, and it was really awesome.
About Tuesday, she was getting a little discouraged and wanted us to, wondering when we were going to leave the house, and I don't know, it kind of all made us a little confused, and we were there helping her out, and she was getting all just mad, and I guess she was just tired of us 14 kids all in her house. So by the end of the day, we ended up explaining who we were and what we were here for. We ended up just blessing her, I guess you would say.
Okay, so this year on my site owner's name was Frank Smith, and he was such a positive guy, had lots of energy, and he was always trying to help us with everything that we can. Like when the ground was muddy, he would put the pieces of wood on it so that way we don't have to step in the mud. He would always try to help us with the carpet or paint, but nobody wanted him to help because they were supposed to be helping him. He always wanted to jump in and do what he could. But I saw God in him because he always tried to lift our spirits, and he was always so positive, and he had so much faith in us and his family, and he always just tried to tell us stories, and he preached all the time. He used to be a reverend, so that's where I saw God.
This week, on one of the days whenever it was raining, really early in the morning, right after we finished our morning devotional, it started raining really, really bad, and so we all ran inside screaming, trying to get out of the rain, getting all the power tools up, so everybody would stay safe. And Miss McKinnon was like, "What happened? Wait, did somebody get shot?" And we knew that we were in a bad neighborhood, and so it kind of showed to us that she cared about us so much with what we were doing to help her, and it showed me that even with how God he always loves us, she was there and she had faith in what we were doing, and so does God, and she truly genuinely was loving what we were doing, and didn't want any of us to get hurt, and that's it.
I really did not want to go to Salkehatchie this year because the week of it I really started to psych myself out, and I said I didn't want to come because I didn't think I'd have any fun, and I didn't have any friends or anything. But then once I got here and I got to meet my family that I was going to work with, I became really good friends with them, and it was actually a lot of fun, and it wasn't weird at all, and it was fun.
It was really fun. I had a great site family and an awesome site owner. She loved us all, and it really stood out to me that she learned all of our names, and she stayed outside with us, and she just stayed with us all day and made sure we were all right, asked if she could help, but of course we wouldn't let her. So that showed how much that she appreciated it. God stood out to me. It was actually kind of funny. I was screwing in drywall in the bathroom, and I had to take a piece down, and it was just about 2x4. It wasn't that big, and so I laid it on the wall, and I started taking some more out. And this girl named Taylor, I call her T-Money, but she walked in and she thought it was a piece of scrap, so she just picked it up and she said, "Hey, this is what the Karate Kids do," and just snapped it right off of her forehead. So we had a blank spot in the wall, and we had no more drywall, and I just wanted to spaz out, but I just couldn't help but to laugh. I mean, I think God was telling me that sometimes you just need to stay back and relax and just have a good time.